Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to play around with some powered screwdrivers, and we're going to try and drive some sheetrock screws into a piece of wood. And we'll see how it goes. If they stall out, we're not going to force it through or anything like that. We're just going to let them run and see how far they can drive a screw into the wood. See how much torque they have. This will be the first test we do. Okay, so getting into it here, we have our scale, which we'll be able to see how hard we're pushing to run the screws in, and I'll try and keep that fairly consistent. And we will have a stopwatch going over here, and I'll just try and start on an even number, and we'll try and keep track of about how long it takes. Only have so many hands, can't do everything all at once, so we'll just work with what we got. Now we'll be driving a 1-inch fastener into the board here, and we will see how far various screwdrivers can drive it in. And the tip that we'll be using will be a railer longer tip, and we'll take a look at each screwdriver how we have to get the tip in. This one you cannot just push in the Craftsman, you have to pull the collet back and it locks in. So it's not a speed install, but it does give you a nice locking collet. So what we'll do now is put our screw on, start our stopwatch, and we will wait for a good spot to start. And let's give it. So that's about as far as it got. I don't know how hard I pushed there, but we'll just keep track of every single one. That was our Craftsman. Okay, so that was our Craftsman. Next we'll move on to the Kobalt. We'll stick the same railer tip in, and this is the same way. You can't just push the tip in, but once you have the collet locked, it is locked very nicely. We'll see if the Kobalt can drive a screw a little further than the Craftsman did. Of course, the scale timed out. And what we'll do is we'll take a look. That Kobalt is just about the same amount in as the Craftsman was. Next up, we'll do the Ryobi. Now this is like a friction fit tip. It doesn't fall out, but it's not the greatest. So let's see what we can do with the Ryobi. As I recall, all these were pretty similar with the amount of force that they could make. So the Ryobi seemed to get in a bit further. Next up, we're going to go with the WorkPro. This also just has like a magnetic tip. We'll see how that works out. Got everything ready to go. And this is just a magnetic tip, but we'll see how this does. That was able to bury the screw in there pretty good before it cut out. So far, the cheap WorkPro is the best one. Next up, we have the Hoto, and this is also a magnetic tip. And this one has some settings. We'll have it on the highest setting. All these will be on the highest setting. And as soon as we can, we'll get them to go. Hoto is not quite as far as the WorkPro. Next up, we're going to go with the SKIL Flex. This is a magnetic tip as well. Just about flush. The next one that we're going to go with is the Dremel, which is actually kind of the Bosch Go3. And these are a little finicky to start because they have a push to run feature. That one had the most torque. We were able to strip the screw out and not just stall it, so that went pretty good. Next up, we're going to take a look at the SKIL. Now, this one has a locking collet as well, which I like. And it has this rotational fitting here at the top, so we'll see what we get. Okay, so we stalled that out and our screw is still standing proud. Next up, we're going to go for the Hart. This one actually tested to be the highest torque, and like the Ryobi, its cousin, it only has like this friction fit tip. So that was able to bury and strip out the fastener. Next up, we're going to do the DeWalt, and this one you can just stick your tip right in and it locks, which is nice. And this has a rotational collet and push type feature. So not as much torque on the DeWalt, but we are sunk in all the way. Next, we're going to go with the Denali. This just has a magnetic tip that we'll take a look at and see how the Denali does running these screws in. So the Denali was able to run the fastener in and strip it out. Next, we're going to go for the Worx. And this, you can just push your tip in and it locks on the collet. We'll see what we can get with the Worx. Worx also takes the fastener in and strips it out. And the final one that we're going to go with is the Bosch Go3. Now that, as you can see, gets finicky to put the tip in. You have to pull it out, and there's a little bit of slop in it. But it should run itself as we push down. That also stripped out the fastener. So if we take a look, we can see the Bosch Go3, the Worx, the Denali, the DeWalt, which is actually kind of flush. You can see that's not sunk in there as much. Here's the Hart, the SKIL, standing proud, the Dremel Go2, which is like the Bosch Go2. Then we had the other SKIL, which is just flush. Then we had the Hoto, the Worx, or the WorkPro, the Ryobi, the Kobalt, and the Craftsman. I would say for this round, you can see the Craftsman is probably the weakest. All of them have sunk the fasteners in. Only a few have stripped the fasteners in the wood, and I realize this is a little subjective because the wood can be different at different places, and it'll see different resistance in the fibers. But I purposely went with the finer toothed drywall screw in the hopes that the screwdrivers would strip them out, just to show that they have a little bit of torque. So not everything was able to sink them all the way. We're pretty equal across the board here as far as what the screwdrivers had to do. So here we go. Here's what we've used. Everything across the board. I think if you're looking to run screws in, I don't think basically any of these are good options. Neither of the SKIL, the Ryobi, the Kobalt, or Craftsman. If you're looking to do this job, I don't think any of those are a great option. The Hoto kind of starts to struggle. The WorkPro sunk the screw but did stall and not strip it out, but this is also pretty cheap. The Hart is much slower. Some commenters mentioned that this thing is very slow, It does seem to have the most torque, but that's gearing. That makes sense. So I think this round, I feel like I want to give it to the Worx because it doesn't have this weird push to run feature. The Bosch and the Go3 and the Go2 or the Dremel, they're both decent screwdrivers. They have a good amount of power, but I do not like this push to run feature that they have. The DeWalt, I feel like personally this mechanism is a little janky, though you might get used to it. You do have control of the screwdriver down here. So it's kind of where you want it to be with your hand and not up higher. So that is a nice feature on this. I just, for the size of this thing, I wish it would have a little bit more torque in it to, because it's got a decent grip. I think you could have more torque in this and be able to hold on to it. And the size of it and everything, it is just, it's big enough that I think you could hold on to it if it had more torque. So that one, I think, is a nice screwdriver. It's probably the smoothest of them, though the Bosch Go3 is a nice smooth screwdriver as well. The Worx, a little bit more, you can hear it in the drivetrain. I don't know if you can hear it in the video. The motor's just a little bit smoother in the Bosch products. That resonates really well there. So this one has a little bit more of an older style sounding motor. They really did upgrade the Bosch Go3. The DeWalt has a nice smooth sounding motor as well. The Denali is a decent compact screwdriver, which does well. It's got plenty of torque. For me, it just loses some points because it's not a locking collet. I really would like to see a locking collet on the Denali. One of the commenters said about gluing a locking collet into the ones that don't have locking collets, and I think that's a really good idea. That might be something that I look at doing after we get through the series of comparing all of these, because I really do not like it when the tips fall out on the screwdrivers. So I hope this was interesting. I tried to go through this as quickly as I could to try and show the testing. Hope I wasn't able to watch our scale. I hope I was able to be somewhat equal and at least give you an idea of how much force is required to run a screw into a piece of wood. It's not a high amount of force to achieve that, and hopefully with our stopwatch we're kind of get an idea of how long it took for these to drive the screws down into the wood. So not all of the examples we have here in the video were able to sink the screws. I didn't expect they would, but some were even able to strip the screws out, which is a nice thing to see that they had the torque to do it. This is not a very coarse thread screw. It should not have required a whole lot of force to strip them out. Let me know in the comments below if you found this video interesting. I'm trying to come up with ways of comparing these so that we get an idea of what we're getting into. If you have other tests that you'd like me to try, let me know in the comments below. We have a few others that we're going to go for, and a few things that we're going to do just to compare these and see how they stack up against each other. So I hope this was helpful. If you're looking for something to run some screws into 2x4s, hopefully you get an idea of which screwdriver may or may not meet this application. So as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.